This portion of the scheduled meeting of the Egg Harbor Township Committee is being held in closed session pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. There may be interruptions in the videotaping of these proceedings. This meeting will be aired by EHT TV Channel 97 on Thursday, March 20th.
Thank you. And for the record, my microphone is not working, so I don't know if the TV will be able to pick it
Your
all
red
up.
light's on. I don't know.
It's nothing on the front, so. We'll switch, we'll
Tap it.
share. We'll share. Okay. Could everybody please stand for the flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ray Ellis. Paul Hodson.
Yes.
William Pauls.
Here.
Paul Rosenberg.
Present.
Laura Farmer.
I am here. You know, we always like to start our meetings with a very positive effect, and because we are going to recognize some of our police officers this evening, and we're going to let the chief tell you all about it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayor. So in years past, we have what's called a Master Police Officer Program in our agency. It's where people that aren't necessarily promote in rank, like sergeant or above, get an opportunity to have a little bit more responsibility on the job. So today, as opposed to years past, we would go in and, can you hear me? Is this going in and out? How about now? Yeah. Anyway, in years past, when people attained the designation of a master police officer, we would they'd go into briefings and kind of throw them their designated patch, and that'd be it. So it was really, but we're trying to change that and trying to bring, so they know that there's value in the program and there's value in what they are taking on. And so today, during the Township Committee meeting, we'd like to recognize them. So if I can, I'll call them up and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
All right. Officer Chowdhury, Tashin Chowdhury, is he in?
Here he is.
Officer Jeremiah Simmons. You can face the audience. Matt Hahn, Officer Matt Hahn. Detective Ron Coons. Detective Ray Wilson. And Canine Officer Burns was unable to join us because he's doing what's important. He's coaching his son in the baseball, and that's where he should be. And Palmatieri. And finally, Officer Chris Leary. So I have a couple of remarks. Basically, as I said, first of all, Mayor, Township Committee, Township Administrator, and the residents of Egg Harbor Township, we, the members of the Egg Harbor Township Police Department, thank you for your continued support and constant recognition of our agency. It gives me great pleasure to recognize a few of our officers this evening before you and before the residents of EHT. And they watched this, just so you know. All right. As we have previously done in Township Committee meetings, we celebrate and recognize those who are new appointments or promoted, or who achieve milestones in their careers, such as years of service or retirements. It has been a tradition of sorts, and we are building on that tradition by recognizing other achievements that were overlooked and not celebrated as they should have been in the past. That being those patrol officers who take the initiative towards their professional development and by voluntarily accepting a greater level of responsibility for the agency by pursuing and achieving their Master Police Officer designation. So before I go any further, I just want to recognize, so to my left here is Officer Tashin Chowdhury. He has served with the agency for 6 years, 8 months, and 29 days. To his left is Officer Jeremiah Simmons, who has served for 7 years, 7 months, and 27 days. Next to him, Officer Matt Hahn, who has served 12 years, 8 months, and 10 days. Then Detective Coons served 10 years, 6 months, 14 days, and so it's his loss. And as I said, Officer Burns was unable to be here. So to the left of Detective Coons is Officer Michael Palmatieri, who served 23 years, 6 months, 26 days. And to Officer Palmatieri's left is Officer Chris Leary, serving 21 years, 10 months, and 3 days. I intentionally identified their years of service down to the day. There are some in this profession left until retirement using this method. In fact, right down to the hour and minute. This is just so unfortunate. Individually, we choose our different path in our career. That path should be personally worthwhile and rewarding. Don't expect or wait for someone else to give you accolades or recognition. It will naturally come, and probably when you least expect it. If it doesn't, so what? Self-satisfaction should be intrinsic or the goal. Isn't that why most of us became police officers? We must always reflect back to why we became police officers and relish and enjoy those moments in this career that give us personal satisfaction and pride. The peaks we talk about. And those are the peaks, the times we should relish and enjoy. But we must find a way to navigate out of the valleys, because there will be many valleys. And that's when one can show their resilient spirit and show others that they possess the natural ability to be relevant and to lead others by emerging from those valleys. It is those who choose to stay in those valleys or somehow can't find their way out that tend to lament and fixate about the end. That makes for a miserable and unfulfilled career. What will be your legacy when you leave this profession? That's why it is so important to work through the valleys. Be remembered as change agents who left a positive. I mentioned the peaks and valleys and what I just talked about because those before you today who have achieved their MPO designation or are advancing within the program, whether they know it or not, are showing initiative and progress, not complacency. Our MPOs are expected to lead by being role models to all police personnel, not just sworn or professional staff. They will wear a rocker patch or a variation thereof that sets them apart from their fellow officers, and they will be looked upon for guidance and direction. As MPOs, you are visible leaders of the agency. It is bestowed upon you and expected of you now. Do the right thing when no one is watching. Provide sound guidance, support, and mentorship. Believe it or not, people not only need it, you are commended for wanting greater responsibility today. Remember, you pursued the MPO status. It didn't pursue you. Don't take it for granted and go make agency culture and morale better for all of us and for the future members of this agency. In closing, and I say it all the time, but you know what? I'm going to say it until I'm out of here. I've said many times, we want our sworn personnel to embrace the value of what President Calvin once said, that no one is compelled to choose the profession of a police officer, but having chosen it, everyone is obliged to live up to the standards of its requirements. Not only does society have high expectations of what police officers should be and how they should interact with them, every member of our department is expected to share those same sentiments. Our expectations are pretty simple. Do the little things right, provide high quality work, and always work towards improving the law enforcement image. So with that, I would like to present their certificates. So Passion, again, for achieving Master Police Officer 1 status. Congratulations. Sorry. Yeah. Were you swimming? That wasn't very nice of you. All right. Officer Jeremiah Simmons achieving Master Police Officer 1. Congrats to both of you. Okay, again, and now moving from Master Police Officer 1 to Master Police Officer 2, Officer Matt Hahn. Congrats. No, you weren't that bad. No. You were in a song. All right, and again, Master Police Officer 1 to Master Police Officer 2, Detective Ron Coons. There you go. Congrats. And then, well, he's not here. Moving from Master Police Officer 2 to Senior Master Police Officer, Mike Palmatieri. Congrats. There you go. And again, moving from Master Police Officer 2 to Senior Master Police Officer, Officer Chris Leary. All right, if you'd like to say a few words, you're more than welcome to, or I'm just kidding.
Thank you, everybody.
Again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Chief.
Congratulations, all of you, and we are so proud of this agency, especially the initiative that our officers take. They're outstanding, outstanding. All right, we are going to move on to ordinance number 8. Mr. Ridgway,
That's my job, right?
that's your job.
All right. So ordinance number 8, an ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Egg Harbor, Chapter 94, entitled Design, Performance, and Improvement Standards, specifically Section 94-44, entitled Stormwater Management, and Chapter 225, Article 1, entitled General Provisions, and Chapter 225, Article 6, entitled Pinelands Area Development Requirements, specifically Sections 225-3, Definitions, and 50.10, subsection K. Do you want me to read the interpretive statement?
Yes, please.
Okay. The purpose of this ordinance is to comply with the Pinelands Protection Act, which requires municipalities to amend their land use regulations to implement objectives and minimum environmental standards of the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan specific to stormwater management and control. That was a mouthful.
That sure was. That sure
You
was.
said the word Pinelands.
Pinelands, that's an
Pinelands.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to discuss ordinance number 8? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Alice.
Yes.
Hodson.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Yes.
Farmer.
Yes. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 8?
Make a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Alice.
Yes.
Hodson.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
As much as I despise agreeing with Trenton on anything, it's yes.
Farmer.
Yes. Ordinance number 10 for introduction.
Ordinance number 10, an ordinance amending Chapter 64 of the Code of the Township of Egg Harbor entitled Alcoholic Beverages, specifically subsection 64-3D, entitled Licenses. The purpose of this ordinance is to reflect the reduction of plenary retail consumption licenses from 28 to 27 due to the permanent lapse of license number 018-33-007-009. A public hearing on ordinance number 10 will be held on April 30th, 2025 at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 10?
Motion, Mayor?
Thank you.
I'll second it, but the explanation is this was due by the state due to the census that we lost the license. We have plenty, as you can see, but they took a license from this township.
We have a resolution and consent calendars, 158 through and including
I
175.
wanted to do
Roll call, Mayor.
Oh, sorry, roll call. I can put that one through.
Alice.
Yes.
Hodson.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Yes.
And now we have a resolution and consent calendar, numbers 158 through and including 175. Does anybody have any questions? If not, can I have a motion to adopt?
Motion, Mayor?
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call?
Alice.
Yes.
Hodson. Pauls.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Yes.
Farmer.
Yes. We have Resolution 176, authorizing payment of all bills. Can I have a motion to adopt the bill list, please? Thank you.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Ellis,
Yes.
Hodson,
Yes.
Pauls,
Yes.
Rosenberg,
Yes.
Farmer.
Yes, we have no approvals. Tom? For tonight, thank you. Township Committee reports. Mr. Rosenberg.
One quick one for me that night, Mayor. I had the pleasure of accepting the invitation from Egg Harbor Township resident John DeMasi, I believe is his name. He had his grand opening. New Jersey Beach Coins, local resident, making good on his hobby, enjoying what he's doing. He's apparently a Comcast technician by day and precious metals collector, dealer, whatever you want to call it, by night. So he's turning his hobby that he enjoys into a local business here. And it was great to see him, his family, the hard work that they poured into that store right over there at the Bonton Plaza over there on Fire Road. So I encourage anybody to go take a look over there.
I always want new businesses coming in. That's wonderful. Mr. Pauls.
We have a save the date. Marco Polo will be honored. We're going to make Purple Heart Way and dedicating that Swift Drive next to Veteran Park there. Marco Polo, people that don't know, he has won 4 Purple Hearts in Vietnam. Fought for the Marines in the 1-9. Chinese named the 1-9 the Walking Dead because they were trying to eliminate them. The 1-9 had the most casualties in Vietnam. It's an amazing story of Marco Polo. The dates will be April 26, 2025. Time is 11 o'clock at Veterans Park. It's right across from the ball fields out front on Ocean Heights. Afterwards, we're going back to the community center. If anybody wants to join us, have light refreshments. It's going to be a great day for Egg Harbor Township. Known Marco Polo a long time myself, and the work he's did for veterans is unbelievable with veterans hospitals and everything else. So it's a great day for Egg Harbor Township. Hope everybody can come out for that.
Yeah, come on out.
We've got a lot of good speakers that are going to speak there. A lot of generals and that work with Marco Polo will be there. Should be a really nice day. That's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Hodson.
I just want to follow up on what Will talked about, what's been talked about, worked on for a number of years. Marco, his history in Vietnam is quite unbelievable. And it's the right thing to do for a veteran from our area that was shot up as many times as he was in Vietnam. I wasn't a Vietnam guy, but if there's some in the audience, I'm sure it was a terrible thing, and he survived, and he has been able to tell his story to a lot of different people. The other thing is I see some firemen here. I want to thank you guys again. I see in daytime we've got Oregon down helping Cardiff, and Cardiff help with Farmington, and vice versa, but that's what we do in the community, is when people are in need, the fire department doesn't let us down. That's all I got, Mayor.
Very good. And also on Marco Polo, I know from what Marco told me, he wants the attention put on the Purple Heart recipients, more so than himself, just in a way to honor them in a very public setting. So I know a lot of you Legion Riders are here, and I know how important this is to all of you. So come on out that day. Mr. Ellis.
Me?
Yeah, you. You're up.
Well, I always have to give a shout out to our fire department. They're the best in the whole world. And Chief, I would like to say I see the guys out there on the street parked, which is a great thing to slow this traffic, slow these cars down. They're very visible. The patrol's very visible. And like I say, you just have to be there. Your presence is helping. Good report on Cates Avenue and good report on Ridge Avenue about the accident. No accident, knock on wood. We don't want accidents. But they're doing a great job to deter that fast pace. So tell the guys, good job.
Just to compliment on Ray, the report, when we went to four-way stops, a lot of people had mixed reviews about four-way stops. But the four-way stops are working on Ridge and West Jersey and Cates. We had fatals out there, a lot too many fatals than we should have. but the four-way stops are working. It does back up, but everybody knows their turn to clear that intersection. And the reports indicate that that was the right thing to do there.
Just a general question to the people in the audience. How many of you have gone through those four-way stops now since they've gone in?
Everybody.
Are they helping?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're coming off, especially if you're coming down Ridge and you want, it's a big help, I know, over there.
You know,
Very big.
the public, some forums that I don't use with Facebook and et cetera, were banging us over that. But it's working. The numbers are there. We're not getting people killed at Ridge in West Jersey or Gates in West Jersey. So that's why we did it.
It's a good thing. And just want to remind the public that we have our annual rabies clinic on March 29th at the Public Works Garage. It's free rabies shots, and you can get your dog licenses there that day also. Dogs are 9 to 11:30, cats are 11:30 to 12. And Janice, if I'm understanding, it's in the building, not the main Public Works, it's in the building behind, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that would be on March the 29th. And on April the 5th, we have the Community Cleanup Day. That will be also a Saturday, April 5th, from 8:30 in the morning till about noon. Also Public Works Garage to get your supplies. Then afterwards, there's a lunch, there's prizes to be won, so come on out and help clean up the township. We're also looking for members for our Environmental Commission. If there's anybody in here, anybody listening, that has an interest in being on our Environmental Commission, basically it's a commission that, Paul, I know you were on it for a while, that reviews the plans of projects that are coming into town and gives their opinions on them. But we are in desperate need of members on that commission.
We're down to two, right?
We need,
We're down to two.
We're down
so
to
we
two.
need some-
So we need people there. So that, their meetings are the first Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock. So if anybody's interested, please just reach out and, come have a seat. We could use the help. And that's all I have. So what we're gonna do now is open this up to the members of the public that would like to address a governing body. And I think I'm just gonna start with Sue Carmen, because I have a feeling that most everybody in the room is here for the same reason. So I don't know what gave it all away, but
I'm just happy I didn't trip walking up here.
no, you can't do it.
Sue Carmen, 91 Zion Road. I'm here today to formally request that you rename the Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve the John L. Carmen Nature Reserve in memory of my father, John Lenny Carmen Sr., and John Carmen Jr. Both have done so much for the community. This is hard. A lot for the community when you combine it, and more recently I've John for the veterans of our community. The Nature Reserve is located close to where John Jr. and John Sr. lived. John Sr., Will, you know, Paul. John Sr. died in 1993 at a construction accident. And John passed away this year, January 3rd, of pancreatic cancer. There's some key members of the family that are not here tonight that want you to know they are in full support of this, but it's too soon to be out here and see everyone, and it's hard not to cry. Yeah. I'm going to read into the record some of the things that John Sr. did in his short 56 years. He was a committeeman. He was a Board of Education member for 6 years. Will, you remember that? He was a planning board member. And this is where it gets interesting. He was the founding member of the 1st District Ambulance Squad. He and some of the community members decided there was no ambulance out that way in English Creek. They got together and they created the 1st District Ambulance Squad. Then they had an ambulance and they had no place to house it. So they built the ambulance squad building on Summers Point Road and Lee's Lane. And they didn't just build it, they built it. Dad got a crew of all the local guys, and I know some of you here are related to some of the guys he got. There's a crew of maybe 15 of them, 10, I don't know. And they went out there and they built that place with hammers and nails. And here's the interesting part. This is where John Jr. learned his community service. I have pictures of John up on that roof at 11 years old, swinging a hammer for his community, building this building. It was incredible. I have pictures of it, and they have the whole group down there. And 11 years old, he started his community service.
That's the way it was taught.
Yeah, it's the way he was taught, and he didn't stop. And even when he stopped with the political agenda, he became, in May 5th of 2010, he became an advocate for the veterans, along with these great gentlemen behind me. The things he did for veterans, I honor missions and just getting supplies. I'm going to tell one more story. A week and a half before John passed, don't let me cry. A week and a half before John passed, miss. And he said to me, he was sitting there and he was pretty far gone. And he said, I heard Robert Brown broke his hip. That's Robert Brown. That man's a veteran. He's a former EMT. John spent 3 days stressing until he could stress no more over things because he couldn't find Robert's number. He called him Bobby. I'm calling you Robert. That's how I know you. And that broke my heart to see him so concerned for members of his community and a veteran that I hope you're doing well, Robert. And again, that's it. I'm not going to belabor it, but I really am formally requesting to rename that nature reserve the John L. Carmen Nature Reserve for two men who have done so much for their community. I forgot to mention John was a freeholder. Did I even go over that list of what John did?
You didn't finish.
Okay, John was a committeeman for 20 years. John was a zoning board member, a planning board member, an environmental commission member. By the way, I might be interested in that.
Okay. She set it on record, just.
Oh, I did. He was the liaison between the planning board and environmental commission. I've been struggling over saying the word liaison. When he passed, he was on the board, the MUA board. He was an Atlantic County freeloader, I used to call him, but he's a.
Called him that too.
I worked at the school district. He called me a parasite, so I had to get even. You get it.
I think there's a former freeloader in here. I saw John raising.
John's there.
Next to you.
I see you, John. And most recently, he was a treasurer of the American Legion Riders, which is where he found his home and he found his people. And he helped the veterans, more veterans than I could sit here and tell you. That was his thing, and he did it well. Did he, guys?
Yes.
Those are his brothers. Those are his brothers. I have a few more things. April Kaufman Veterans Advocate Award he got in 2018, and a bunch more, but I can't stand up here and talk anymore because I'm going to cry. But I'm asking you to rename that park, and I'd appreciate it if you could.
Thanks, Sue. I can tell you this, and I think I speak, and they can all say what they want to say. John was probably the favorite of all of ours. I sat with John on the planning board. He knew this township better than any person on that board. He knew where everything was. He knew what it was 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago, long before he was even here. He spoke up for people. He would fight against people up here on the board if he believed in a cause. He had no problems, going at Sunny on something if they didn't agree on it. He was,
Yes.
he was a wonderful human being who most people, and I think for all of us, when he took all of us because he gave so much for them. And there's no doubt about that.
Both junior and senior had that sense of humor that you can't beat that. Yeah, but without sense of humor, what is life?
Yeah.
If you can't laugh.
But I didn't know your dad. My husband did. And actually, when we first moved out here, your dad, we had a zoning issue that needed to be taken care of, and who do we call? We called Lenny Carmen. So, but I think all of us up here have nothing but the highest respect. So what we're going to do is talk about what we need to do and things like that, and you'll be involved in our conversations.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. But anybody want to speak about John? Or I know, Will, you go back to the dinner table. So.
I'm sorry, if you cry, I'm going to cry, so stop.
I'll do it. I spoke on behalf of your father and brother to this board. I grew up with John. Your father was a great mentor to me on job sites. My father and yours were on school board as president, vice president. They were funny guys. They could make you laugh. I can still hear your dad's voice in my head laughing at my dad's stupid jokes. But
and your dad had some.
Growing up here back in those days, our parents taught us to volunteer. And John did a tremendous job. Young John. And one thing about in the old days, and it was different times back then. Wally's sitting there, he knows it. When you volunteered for something, like my mom and dad started the youth organization, you had to man it, you had to raise the funds, and you had to, that's the way it was back in the day. Wally's shaking his head. But to me, they were two great people. You know, John helped me up, put political signs up. With me and Paul, we didn't even know he was sick. That's the type of person he was. And, you know, I ain't gonna say much more, because
Well, when we were putting the signs up, I was ridiculed because they didn't think I knew how to use a screw gun, but him and John,
Do you? But do you, Paul?
he really didn't appreciate the used screws I held from a couple of years ago and the old lumber, but we got them.
the screws like had three layers of rust on them. Probably the
But
first
they
campaign.
work, Wally, okay?
Can I tell you a quick story? I probably shouldn't have, but
Do it.
so I didn't know your dad, but I knew John. I was first appointed to the planning board almost 15 years ago. And the first night I was there, I got, spiffed up, want to make a good impression, that type of thing. I was sitting right where Will Pauls is now. And there was an empty seat next to me, all right? And I had no idea what to do. This is the first time I'd been on a board. And do you remember John, the big red truck?
Yeah.
Enormous hitch he had on the back of that thing?
Oh, yes.
A chunk of iron that would take out your shins like you would, yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
So everybody kept telling me, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. John Carmen knows what he's doing. Just do everything that John Carmen does. I said, okay, who's John Carmen? And, the seat next to me is empty. He comes in about 10 minutes after the meeting started. He comes up the thing and he sits down and he says, hey, I'm John Carmen. I said, oh, you're John Carmen. He says, don't do everything I do. And he takes $400 out of his pocket and says, I just backed up into your car. That was how I met John. No, he swore me to silence. I was never supposed to tell that story.
That's great. That's great.
I don't want to see anybody cry.
Well, my story with him was I had major back surgery. I was in the hospital for 4 months. I lost about 40 or 50 pounds. So, everybody said, wow, you lost a lot of weight. You lost a lot of weight. So I'm standing downstairs on the couch, couldn't go up the stairs. Next thing you know, the doorbell rang. Who the world coming to me? He's John, hey! Him and Dad, a pan of ribs this big. Not the little pan of ribs like this big. We know you lost a lot of weight. Here. I said, what am I supposed to do with all those ribs? Eat them. You need to get your weight back. So he came to my house and brought me a big pan of ribs that Daggett made.
That Glenn Daggett made, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
Daggett, he didn't make them, Daggett made them, but he was a good guy. We would laugh and all that stuff. He was.
Thank you all for your stories, and I thank you for your consideration. And
We all miss him.
yeah,
And Sue, we all have stories. I think I'm the only one up here that served with John when it was Risley and Glassy and McCullough.
Yeah, where's
And
Mr.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Over there.
I won't tell any of the stories that maybe incriminate a few of us, but had the knowledge of the township. He was in the neighborhood. He'd always see me, and then my phone would light up. He would want to know what the hell I was doing. And, with the pumpkin run, we know what John did in this town. All of us know what he did. Wally Shields out there from the volunteer fire department. It troubles me that we see people leave us too soon, and that's what happened to John. And I was there at the MUA when he told us all, and we couldn't believe it, because he didn't look himself, but he was very sick. That was the last time we saw him at the MUA. And look, we love John. You know that, and everybody in this audience knows that. We love John, and you're doing the right thing, and we're going to do the right thing for John and your mother and your father.
Thank you,
I didn't know
Paul.
your father well, but I moved out here 44 years ago, and I moved into the no man's land on Asbury Avenue, so I got to know your father and John pretty well. But this township inside and out, when anybody wanted to try to bullshit us with what the township did and didn't do, John could clear it up real fast.
Thank you.
And he'd call us out if we screwed up too. So,
Hey, I know you're ready to sit down, but one more thing. I do want to tell this story about Big Mama. There's a lady in my neighborhood. She used to make sweet potato pies. She made the best sweet potato pies in the world. She had grandkids, kids, nieces, nephews. and she died. And everybody wanted Miss Effie Burton to sweep into the pot, but she died. Nobody knew the recipe. So while we have our American Legion, good brothers in here, and all the ladies in here, we have to take our recipe and teach others. We have to take our kids and spend time with our kids because we are leaving here in record numbers like Noah's Ark, 2 by 2. But our kids are not learning because we don't have the time. We go home, we go watch Netflix, we eat our dinner, and we go to bed, and the kids learn on their own. And there's a lot of negative stuff out there. So every day I try to go to the rec to be around kids. We as adults and we as leaders, we got to lead something. Real quick story, my coach in college, we were losing real bad football. He came in halftime, he said, I can't wait to die. Like, what are you talking about? You can't wait to die. He said, just think, if y'all our future, it's gonna be a messed up world. And just look at what's happening now. We have to keep our recipe into these kids. We have to teach our kids and mold our kids and spend time with our kids, you know, because the world is going to be a messed up world. Just look at them. And men, you know, with the Legion and all that, you'll represent everywhere. And people would look up to you. So one day I'm going to grab all y'all, I'm going to get on a bicycle, not a motorcycle, and we're going to go to the rec. All right?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Speak pretty good for nobody that does this. There might be a future in this.
You did good, Sue.
Environmental board, I can see it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And John's other sister is over there too. And his daughter and his granddaughter. So, your leg. Where's your leg?
She just don't want to say her mama did it. Her mama did that.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Come on up, sir. Just give your name for the record and your city.
Vinny, Egg Harbor Township.
Last name too, Vinny?
I'll do it this time. Caputo. All right. I actually, I guess it's your brother, John Carmen, the one that passed away from pancreatic cancer. I'm in full support of renaming the park. I didn't know him directly, but he knew my father-in-law, and
Pete Dallas, right?
Pete Dallas.
Yeah.
So he helped me get a job at Accent Fence. And then we stayed in communication, me and John. I thanked him, all that stuff. But he helped me, a person he didn't even know. So that just goes to show you who he is. If he helped everybody here, that's awesome. So I'm sorry I didn't really know him that well, but he sounded like a really good man, and I've heard a lot about him. So through my family and others. So I want to start off by addressing the importance about transparency. At the last meeting, I was told I wasn't able to record. I'm sorry, I wasn't today. I was told I wasn't able to record, and that there was a policy, and the town lawyer here said I couldn't do it because you guys are recording. So the town attorney said there was a policy, but the Constitution doesn't trump policy. Open meetings should be public, and recording them only enhances transparency. But beyond that, I wanted to talk about other things in the town. I want to make Egg Harbor Township a better place to live. Cleanliness and maintenance matter. Regular street sweepings and better property maintenance can go a long way improving the look and feel of our own town. Right now, there are too many properties in distress. Take a look at the property on Idlewood Avenue, a modular home where it sits literally split in two. The Rex Motel, they haven't made any effort to really cut their trees or the grass along Coolidge Avenue. Speaking of Idlewood Avenue, is it going to be paved? Is there plans to install sidewalks? This is a high traffic area with many people, including children, walking from the softball fields and they have no choice but to walk in the street, and it's a major safety concern. Finally, at the last meeting, it wasn't a town meeting, but it was a zoning meeting, which I didn't know. I brought up the snow removal. I want to acknowledge that I brought up the snow removal the last meeting, and there was some improvement, but it could still be better. We were ranked, I guess, #1 in the state for car accidents, and having, all the streets plowed, even the back streets, would be nice. So my question to you is, what's the plan? How can we work together to make this town cleaner, safer, more transparent? These are not just small issues, but they affect the daily lives of our residents. Let's take some action.
I'll tell you this, in regards to the cleanliness, property maintenance, we have a property maintenance ordinance that operates on calls in. If they're anonymous calls in, so if there's a property that you see, or anyone that's listening sees, they can call upstairs or call the township and report it. It gets on a list, it's an anonymous report. We send our zoning officer out there to take a look at it. And there's a lot of properties right now that are in the court system for violations that they have. And unfortunately, in the court system, sometimes it could take over a year to get those things taken care of.
Well, I remember being here, I don't know if it was sometime last year, maybe the year before, about the Rex Motel. I mean, it's just, they're out of control. They just don't maintain anything.
Well, that we'll check on.
Also, this won't be the first time, but now the third time.
We'll check on
The third time on the modular split in two on Idlewood. It's just an eyesore. I mean, that area could be pretty nice if it was just cleaned up a little bit. But maybe we should have some code enforcer come out and actually inspect these homes instead of a call-in basis, because we really want to see property that's sky high. I mean,
one of our zoning officers goes out and travels the township.
But he's looking for like code violations, like building
He's looking
and
for all kinds of things. He's looking for 27 trucks parked on a front lawn, a house that's falling apart.
yeah. There's a house on Windsor Avenue in Delilah Oaks that their whole fascia's gone. I mean, it's just like stupid things like that where, you see things like that, and it just is like, wow, if I was in another town, because I come from North Jersey, it would not be, you know what I mean? I come from a small town, Highland Park, it's a square mile, next to Edison, New Jersey, and they're out all the time. I just
We're
want,
a little bigger than that.
I know that, but we might have a little bit more resources because we were bigger than that, right?
Not so much.
Not so much. Well, let's apply for some grants and some funding, and I'd be happy to help.
By any chance have a house number on Idlewood?
Well, it's in between Idlewood and Coolidge. Coolidge and Tilton. There was a house that was demolished, right? I guess, huh? It's a modular home, literally split in two. It's been like 4 or 5 years now. 4 years.
We'll check it. We'll actually check that one.
Got it.
I thought I brought it up to you when we spoke off to the side. You said you're from that area. So I'd like to see some of these things change. But Idlewood Avenue, are we going to do anything about sidewalks there? Or is there a grant? I remember coming here and somebody said there was a grant available in that area. I know Coolidge was paved, but not Idlewood. That's a very high traffic area because the softball field's right there. Kids walk up and down there every single day. And then there's cars that park off to the sides. Where
Our engineer is here who handles our road program. I know that the road program for this year is pretty much set. We spend about $1.5 million every year on roads. So we will absolutely check that out and see what needs to be done out there.
That'd be great, because when the softball field fills up, the cars are parked on both sides of the Idlewood, so the kids are forced to literally walk in the middle of the street where only one car can walk. One car can go one way on both directions. You know what I mean? Like you can't fit 2 cars in when there's two cars parked on both sides of the road. You know what I mean? So they're literally forced to walk in the street. And I see it every day. Basketball's going in the street, and I try to stop people.
Looking,
so that's where I'm at.
And safety is important, extremely important. We will check into that, absolutely. Take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address governing body?
This young lady right here.
I have a couple of things, but first I'd like to say,
Just put your name in.
Yeah, just put your name.
Or just,
my-
no, not your, just your name.
my name is Norma Lombardi. Do you want an address? I'm in West Atlantic City in scenic West Atlantic City in Egg Harbor Township. I'm certainly aware of all of you on this board. I've been here for 44 years in my residence. Your amplification in this room has improved somewhat. I can now, as I sit in the audience, hear you, but I could not hear whoever was speaking from here. Out there, I had to strain and strain and strain. That this system has lacked a lot of clarity. That being said, I will speak loud enough so everyone can hear what I have to say. I am concerned, as I am a person, and I checked over we all get a flood insurance bill. Well, I do because I'm down there on scenic Lakes Bay in West Atlantic City, but I do assume that everyone does pay a flood insurance program, and it has gone up consistently past years. Certainly, Superstorm Sandy had a lot to do with the increases. But when Superstorm Sandy occurred, Egg Harbor Township worked hard to serve their residents at that time, and they worked with FEMA and they submitted required, and they got a 25% discount called a community rating discount for all of us that pay flood insurance. Because they brought the township up to the requirements of FEMA. It had to be a lot of paperwork, and it was done, and it went into effect in 2013, and it was in 2012. I tell you, each year I got that 25%, and need I say our flood insurance goes up every year. Well, I certainly got my bill this year, which forced me to look a lot closer at it. It did go up substantially, but I do know all the flooding rates do go up. I got a lot of calls from my neighbors. Boy, it went up tremendously. And I looked, and I pulled out last year's bill. And I saw that this year and last year, I did not get the community rating discount. I will tell you, I'm talking about $1,300 that I was paying more. I will not dispute the amount of the flood insurance. But that discount was wonderful for the residents of Egg Harbor Township. And I can tell you, each year I had to thank Egg Harbor Township for getting the residents that discount. But we didn't get it last year, and I didn't get it this year, and there's my bill. So I sent a note to everyone here on the board. Why not? I do believe big things that generated that wonderful community discount, and it was our township engineer at the time was Jim Mott. He applied for and got a grant. Congressman Lobiando was the congressman at the time, and they built, and I can assure you, I don't know if you've driven down Bay Drive, call it our designer wall. It was over $4 million. They built a wall to hold the water back that would come up from Lakes Bay. They put dune grass on top, and they did beautiful things. Also, we lived there on the street ends. They put stairs so I could walk from the street over the new dunes onto the beach. It was wonderful. The township did it. Didn't cost us anything. They were aware of it. They were on top of it. They did whatever FEMA needed to get this wonderful savings for the residents of Egg Harbor Township. But now
Can you talk into the mic? Because
Absolutely.
To the television.
Absolutely. So, I now see that I'm not getting this community rating discount, and I inquired about it. And I did get a little note from our township administrator that said they became aware. They're checking into it, and they're submitting. Why wasn't it done 2 years ago? And I don't know what it's going to take to get it done again. We already had the discount. Why wasn't it followed up 2 years ago and 1 year ago. Here I am saying I'm out $1,300. I don't know what everyone is out, but we're talking tens of thousands of dollars out of your pocket, you who are paying flood insurance in Egg Harbor Township, because Egg Harbor Township did a wonderful thing that we've been denied. You don't know it yet, but I'm calling it to your attention. I'm annoyed. Someone's not watching the store here. I want that discount. I want it retroactively. I want it absolutely next year. I don't know why it wasn't done 2 years ago, because it was already in place. Are you not following through? And now my concern is what else failing to stay on top of to serve the residents of Egg Harbor Township? This is one little thing. I'm going to be asked a lot of questions. And I'm going to leave you with this question. Can you give me any indication as to the status of this year's budget for Egg Harbor Township? I know you're working diligently on it. Do you expect an increase or a decrease? I know you don't have a dollar amount yet.
No, it'll be introduced at our next meeting. We're finalizing it now.
Okay, well, fine, then you're on top of it. Is there an indication it'll stay the same, or can we expect a small increase, or will there be a decrease?
That's what we're finalizing. I don't want to say anything until it's finalized.
Okay, you know what that means, everybody. Increase. I thank you very much, but I do want that community rating discount on my flood insurance and on everyone's flood insurance. And I'm going to let everyone know what it's costing them, because you're not watching the store here. Please. Thank you.
Ma'am, did you want to come down?
Hello, I am Mia Campo from Egg Harbor Township, and I am here with a group of pickleball players from the township. This is Mr. Bill Gianetti.
He's Mr. Pickleball.
Yes, and I'm trying to be Miss Pickleball.
I apologize. I'm getting over a 3-week cold. A hell of a lot of people here.
Everybody is.
So I'm letting Mia speak. We're looking for some additional courts at Betterment Park. I know that's something that's in consideration. We're going to just vote it a little bit more.
Yes, there was us at the Parks and Rec meeting last week, and we pleaded our case about the growth of pickleball. It is the fastest growing sport in the country, I think all over the world, actually. A lot of us play 5, 6, 7 days a week. It's, besides exercise, it is a socialization. We have people from his age down to 8-year-old kids playing. It used to be an old people's sport. Anymore, it is a younger people's sport. We're getting taken over by all these 20-year-olds, 30 years old. They're there all the time. So anyway, we are outgrowing our beautiful courts at Betterment Park. We love our courts. Everyone loves our courts. We have the best courts in South Jersey, I think, in all of anywhere I've played. So you guys did an awesome job. So we're asking for growth of more courts. We know it's not going to happen this year, next year. We've talked with Rick. He's been out there. He sees, sometimes we go out for 3-4 hours, and we're lucky if we can get 4 or 5 games in. We sit, we play 2 games, and then you sit and socialize for a half hour, 40 minutes, and then you're lucky enough to get back on for 2 games, and then you're off again. So hoping that our can grow and more courts will be available in the next few years.
How many of you come out at night? Because I know the one, we kept it lit till 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Intentionally for the people that work, so they can come in after work.
Yes, the courts are jam-packed. We have cameras that a guy put in that we can watch to see how many people are there. So if some people don't want to go, if they have to stand there and wait for an hour to be able to get a court. But we did talk about the lights at the meeting last week. And I did understand that the lights at the other parks stay on until 11 o'clock at night. And we were hoping that Township could also make Betterment Park stay on until o'clock instead of the 10 o'clock.
I thought they all were 10, but we can check that.
Well, what happened, you remember we were supposed to bring up the lights for y'all at 11. What happens at street hockey, they're supposed to go off at 10, but they never off at 10. They
They don't turn them off.
all night.
Leave 'em on.
And the only thing that you're asking, because of the population and the people interested in pickleball, I didn't want to show y'all off in pickleball, but my back hurt. But we just asked for the light for another hour till 11 o'clock. And that's what I was going to bring up when you started talking, the lights, because the crowd, people can't play because it's so crowded and you have to wait in line. So
Yeah.
that extra hour would help.
It would, because a lot of the kids, the younger people, they work till 5, get dressed and come over. They only have a couple hours to play a couple games, so if they could have an extra hour, that would be awesome for them. It's not for us older
Mr.
people.
Watkins' office that did a lot of the engineering out there. And I know this, the multi-phases in that park, and Bill, you know this, when we put it in Delilah Oaks, we had problems in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So out there, we haven't had the complaints from there. It's a great, and I have to give Rick a lot of credit on that. Rick, when they were designing that, and Jim too, believed firmly in the sport. And if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. So,
It was done right.
yeah,
It's
so it's a
beautiful.
good facility.
And
There's
the
8 courts.
location's been a success because like she said, Delilah Oaks was a heartache for a lot of us. When I was the mayor there, it was a problem. So the lights should be off at 10 all over the township, but I'll bring it up, the other night, we were lit up big at the hockey field and no one there. So that's them not shutting them off, them on timers like they are at Park, and at 10 o'clock, they're going off. Because people see that, it's lit up and nothing's there.
Yeah, these
But-
dim automatically, like every
I
10
live in
minutes
the
or so.
neighborhood,
Yeah,
and that
so we're gonna have
facility
to-
That's
is
nice.
always being used around the clock,
Yeah.
unless it's bad weather.
And Bill, you did a job for us, the
You
pickleball.
know the time that I put
Yes, I
into
do.
the sport since I first came here to South Jersey in 2000. I'm teaching at the community center year-round on Fridays, and so I have never had to postpone a class yet. So this is where the population, where the new players are coming from. We're having these classes for beginners and for intermediate players, and coming in and they're learning, and now they need some place to play. And Betterment Park is the perfect place for it. So I understand there's room there to expand it. The evidence shows that, of course, they're needed. So we're asking for that to be a consideration for the future, that money be set aside to add the additional courts there, keep this wonderful sport going. Thank you very much.
And one more FYI, if anybody wants to learn how to play pickleball, on Juneteenth, we were approved to have a open learn to play pickleball for all ages. No pressure. The courts will be set aside that other people can't be in your way. So we will be there. We have a couple other coaches that are coming to assist with teaching pickleball to keep our sport growing.
That's what time is that?
It's from 6 to 8 p.m.
PM.
Yes.
It's an evening, so a lot of people at work will be able to make it. My classes are on Fridays and Saturdays, and now this spring at Delilah Oaks Park. So anybody else that's interested in learning, call the township and.
Yeah.
Come on out and try it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the governing body? Mr. McGlinchey.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the committee. I had no intention of speaking tonight. My name is Ed McGlinchey. I live at number 7 Sunset Boulevard in Seaview Harbor. And when I heard comments about snow removal, I was the Alan Simerson of Winslow, size town,
Yeah.
similar size road miles, the whole 9 yards. And it was a little disturbing to me to hear that. We're a sort of an outlier community. And the priorities of snow removal, there's a pecking order, people don't understand, I don't believe. But, I'm here to tell you that, and I said it before, the township does a wonderful job, in my opinion, on snow removal. They don't have tons of people to go around. They're limited on how many hours they can push snow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go into snow removal, and there is no magic wand. Every storm is different, but I'm just here to tell you that my belief is they do a great job.
Thank you.
regardless of what the man has to say.
Thank you.
That's what I
Make
had to
sure that our guys hear that.
Well, just you know, we have 300 miles of roads.
So did
So,
they.
and you got a lot too.
So did he.
And so we just can't get to all 300 at the same time.
Believe me, I'm very well aware of the process.
Probably snow removal brings them. No, I know you don't. The most complaints usually we get is around snow time. So, is there anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion, Mayor.
Second. Oh, we have one, yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention, there's nobody else is up here. Ken Steiger, I'm a township resident. As you know, we're all in favor of the motion for John, and there's about 30 of us here, and I'm sure 50 or 60 old people in this room together in favor of it. For those here on TV may not see us and know that there's this much support in of it. I just ask for that to be read into the record.
Great.
That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else that would like to address the governing body? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please. Actually, all in favor? Aye.
You want administrator?
Tom, do we have a need for a closed session?
Yes, ma'am. Brief. Resolution 177, authorizing the Township Committee to convene into closed executive session to discuss matters which may involve personnel and/or legal matters. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss matters involving personnel and/or legal matters as follows. I have two personnel matters, one regarding employee transfer with an anticipated disclosure of 3 months, and one regarding zoning board members with an anticipated disclosure of 6 months, and one legal matter update from last meeting, fire prevention inspections, notice of violations with an anticipated disclosure of 1 year. Whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township of Committee, Township of Egg Harbor, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey, that the public be...
Can I have a motion to go into closed?
Motion, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ellis?
Yes.
Hodson?
Yes.
Pauls?
Yes.
Rosenberg?
Yes.
Farmer?
Yes.